The turret fires at 0612. No warning, no signal lamp. The pressurized stream erupts from CCG 5901's midship mount and crosses the gap in less time than it takes to flinch. It catches BRP Sindangan's forward deck at full force. Two crew buckle to their knees, loose gear skids overboard, and the vessel shudders stem to stern like something has struck her below the waterline. Captain Magbanua orders full ahead. The 21st of March 2026, West Philippine Sea. Sindangan has been running resupply routes to Sabina Shoal for 11 months. Food, fuel, medicine for the 14 Filipino fishermen sheltering at the feature. Before the sun cleared the horizon this morning, 2 Chinese Coast Guard cutters materialized across the only viable lane to the shoal. CCG 5901 to port. A second gray hull, number spray painted over to starboard. Between them, a channel contracting with every knot. Sindangan advances. The deck crew read it before the cannon fired. Hands were already moving, securing loose gear, raising cameras, taking positions at the rails. Protocol, document, witness, do not escalate. Now they brace. The high-pressure jet swings to track Sindangan's new heading. Second blast aimed higher, deliberate finds the pilothouse windows. Safety glass holds. The frames bow inward with a sound like a struck bell. Water cascades across the side deck. An antenna housing tears free with a shriek of stressed metal and disappears into the wake. On the bridge wing, Martinez 23, from Batanga stakes, the deflection spray across his upper body and goes down hard onto the deck plating. He is standing again before Magbanua can call his name. Shaken, camera still in hand. A third vessel has emerged from behind the wall of steel. Smaller, faster, blue and white hull. Maritime militia, not Coast Guard. Though the distinction matters nothing when she is advancing at 18 knots with Sindangan's stern in her sights. She pulls alongside the port quarter and holds there, not blocking, shadowing, waiting for an order that hasn't come yet. CCG 5901 begins her approach. She angles towards Sindangan's bow knot, quite an intercept heading, but close enough that Magbanua counts the seconds between each correction and the time it would take the cutter's full mast to cover the remaining space. The gap collapses. 400 meters, then close enough to make out rust streaks along the cutter's waterline. Then the gray hull fills the forward camera frame entirely, edge to edge. Magbanua keeps his heading. The spray weapon cycles for a third run. This jet catches the bridge wing direct full force on Martinez again. He takes it across the shoulders and goes down a second time. He stays down for 3 seconds. When he rises, his hands are shaking. He says nothing. He raises the camera. CCG 5901 crosses Sindangan's bow at less than 2 ship lengths, close enough that the displacement wave rocks the Philippine vessel sideways like a broadside blow. Crew grab for rails, stanchions, machinery housings. One man catches the edge of the liferaft casing with both arms and holds. The hulls do not touch. The margin could be measured in heartbeats. Magbanua radios his position. His voice does not change pitch. We are still proceeding to Sabina Shoal. The militia boat maintains its shadow, mirroring every heading correction. Every small deviation Magbanua tries. The second cutter has repositioned astern, sealing the stern lane completely. Whatever course opens, the formation reshapes to fill it. The geometry is being managed by people who have rehearsed this. High overhead, a P-8 Poseidon banks into a wide surveillance orbit. Its camera pods are visible against the morning sky. Every vessel on the water notes its presence. Nothing below changes as a result. The shoal is 38 nautical miles out. The spray system on CCG 5901 is already cycling for another run. And the second cutter, the one that had been trailing, is no longer trailing. She is accelerating. The second cutter does not bring her water cannon. She uses her hull. The impact arrives as a controlled shoulder, the way a larger animal moves a smaller one off a trail. CCG 5901's flank driving against Sindangan's starboard quarter at 0714. No crash, just a long, shrieking grind of steel on steel, 4 seconds of lateral force, and then Sindangan lurching hard to port. Crew are thrown. Welded fittings crack from the hull skin. The liferaft housing shears from its mouth. With a rifle shot crackno deployment, no inflation. Just the housing tumbling into the wake and gone. The cutter backs off, not to allow passage, to take a better angle. Magbanua calls damage control before the sound stops. Hull, holding, engines, functional. Navigation, partially disrupted. Personnel, 3 minor injuries, all standing. The vessel is hurt. It is not stopped. He pushes the throttle forward. CCG 5901 is no longer attempting to block, she is pushing. Using her mass as a wedge to redirect Sindangan's heading degree by degree, the way a river reshapes stone. The second cutter converges from starboard to complete the pincer. Between them, the space available to Sindangan's bow contracts to the width of a hesitation. The laser hits without a sound. Green. Total. A half-second sweep across the bridge windows that drops helmsman De Los Santos to the deck, hands over his face. He is not incapacitated, but for several critical seconds the wheel has no one at it and Sindangan drifts. Martinez lunges from the bridge wing, takes the wheel with both hands, hauls the heading back. Too late to prevent the gap from opening to port. CCG 5901 is already filling it, accelerating hard, angling to push Sindangan off her heading entirely. Magbanua orders hard starboard. The hull groans against its own momentum. The cutter slides past at paint-stripping range, and her displacement wave hits the Philippine vessel like a second collision. 2 more crew go to the deck. The morning air carries salt, diesel exhaust, and something electrical burning below decks. The militia boat comes in from the port quarter. A second laser sweep, this one aimed at the bow optics. De Los Santos has his eyes closed. He has learned something in the last 8 minutes. The sweep finds nothing. Sindangan does not stop, but the outer ring is closing. 3 larger hulls have arrived from the south, a different class from the cutters. Heavier, moving with deliberate authority. They take their positions without urgency. By 0800, Sindangan sits at the center of a double encirclement. The original blockade cutters forming the inner ring. The new arrivals holding the perimeter. 8 vessels. The formation outweighs Sindangan by a factor that makes calculation pointless. Magbanua orders engines to idle. Stop providing a moving target. Stop burning fuel against geometry that will not change. Observe. Think. Wait. The formation idles too. CCG 5901 spray turret stays trained on Sindangan's bridge elevated. Ready. Patient. The gray hulls breathe at low RPM. The standoff has shed its violence and settled into something harder. Duration. The question is no longer whether Sindangan can push through. It is whether Manila will answer before the crew runs out of options. At 0823, Manila answers. 1 sentence. The crew is authorized to use their judgment. Magbanua folds the message and puts it in his shirt pocket. He looks south, then southwest, then at the chart. The second cutter is repositioning again. Small movement, 30 meters, maybe 40, but in the direction of the southwest channel. The one navigable lane where a shallow draft vessel could thread a line these cutters' deeper keels could not safely follow. Someone in the formation has been reading the same chart. The bancas were already there, scattered across the blockade's southern flank since before the first cannon fired at dawn. 7 wooden outrigger hulls. Fishermen working these waters the way their grandfathers did, without filing notice with anyone. They do not form up. They do not coordinate. They continue fishing. At 0947, the nearest cluster drifts close enough to the outer ring that one of the large new hulls breaks position to intercept. The encirclement around Sindangan opens a seam to the south, not wide enough for a 700-ton supply vessel, but a seam. Magbanua marks it on paper. He does not touch the radio. The militia boat moves to close it. Arrives 40 seconds after it matters. By 10:45, 3 bancas have worked alongside Sindangan. Fishermen pass boxes across the gap between hulls. Dried provisions, water containers, tarpaulin. Nothing from the original manifest. Everything the men at the shoal can use. CCG 5901 watches from 80 meters. The turret does not activate. Magbanua has been doing something else, while the formation watches the bancas. At 1148, the depth sounder catches the outer edge of the shoal's approach, shallows under Sindangan's keel. He has not made a single radio call. He has not ordered a course change the formation could act on. He has used minimum throttle, tidal drift, and the window the bancas created, and Sindangan is now 14 nautical miles closer to Sabina Shoal than she was at 0800, sitting at the southern edge of the inner ring rather than its center. The gap between the 2 nearest cutters at this new position 600 meters. CCG 5901 begins to close it at 1153. The formation has seen what happened. The outer ring contracts. The axis that rotated southwest at 1134, anticipating a vessel that might thread the shallow channel, swings back to cover Sindangan's actual position instead. 7 minutes of adjustment. Methodical. Unhurried. The 600-meter gap is 400 meters. Then 280. At 1,200, Magbanua makes one transmission. Still here. Send the second boat. The channel clicks off. Somewhere south of the current position, beyond what any eye can reach from a bridge wing, Manila is answering that call. What draft that answer draws, what route it takes, whether it is already moving or still being ordered into motion, none of that is visible from here. What is visible? CCG, 5,901 at 200 meters and still advancing. The outer ring sealed on 3 sides. The southwest channel at 160 meters depths, shallow enough that the cutters would risk grounding to follow anything that threaded it. What is also visible? The gap on Sindangan's port side, where the formation thinned to cover the southwest approach, is 800 meters wide and no vessel is currently filling it. Magbanua's hand rests on the throttle. The second boat has not appeared yet. The port gap is still open. Neither of those facts will remain true for long.